A torpedo was hidden in the corpse's armpit as they were buried, and when a grave robber opened the coffin, it would trigger a tripwire inside. This released a firing pin, and as the gunpowder ignited, the explosion blasted metal balls straight into the thief's face. This would kill them instantly, and it acted as a warning to others: leave the dead in peace or become one of them. If you never trim your nails, they'll grow 1/8 of an inch every month. And as they grow, they can start curling and twisting as the tissue underneath your nails grows thicker. This can lead to painful ingrown nails as they cut into your skin. But the nails that don't become ingrown get weaker the longer they grow, and some will break, leaving sharp edges that can cause cuts. Dirt and bacteria will collect underneath them, which could lead to fungal infections and bad smells. Eventually, your nails would grow so long that you would hardly be able to use your hands. The massive nuke was lowered down the shaft before concrete was poured on top. You see, 3 years earlier, a gas well had erupted into flames, and a fireball over 400 feet high burned constantly. Engineers tried to put it out with water, but it did nothing, and installing a lid only forced the gas out in other places. Finally, they sent down a nuclear bomb, and when it detonated, the massive blast compressed the earth around the well. This closed up the pipe, finally putting an end to the fire. The equipment fell into the crowd and hit a man on his head. A few days later, he couldn't speak or read. To help heal his brain, doctors suggested art therapy. And even though he had never painted before, he was suddenly obsessed. Soon, he was painting 20 hours a day, making hundreds of surreal artworks. He quickly became a world-famous artist. You see, the brain usually blocks overly detailed information, but the injury actually disabled this block, allowing him to see incredible detail and making him a genius painter. The woman's pee was injected into the rabbit. Then they cut it open. If its ovaries had grown, then that meant the woman was pregnant. You see, the urine contained a special hormone, and this would trigger another hormone inside the animal, making the ovaries grow. But the only way to check was to kill the rabbit, and this got expensive. So they found a frog that reacted to the same hormone. After injection, if it laid eggs, that meant the woman was pregnant. And this test was incredibly accurate, meaning hospitals kept live frogs on hand until modern tests replaced them. If 1 grain of rice equals $1, the average US home would cost about 500,000 grains of rice. Now, if you filled an entire shipping container with rice, it would be the same as Taylor Swift's net worth. Next to that, Mark Zuckerberg's pile would be enough to fill about 3 Olympic-sized swimming pools to the top. But the US national debt would be enough to fill up the Empire State Building, with some to spare, and it's still growing every day. The dog was sucked out of the garage and disappeared into the tornado. He was picked up and thrown by the storm, breaking both of his front legs. But this dog was determined to go back home and began crawling using only his working back legs. And 3 weeks after the storm, his owners found him sitting on their front porch, covered in cuts and dirt, but alive. He was rushed to the vet, and after weeks of recovery, he finally stood again. They placed their hand into a bag full of ants, letting them sting the skin. Now, these are bullet ants, and they have the most painful sting on Earth, feeling like being shot. And this lasts for hours and even days. But the young boys must endure this without giving up. You see, they do this as a test to become tribal leaders, proving that they're strong and brave. And to officially pass, they have to repeat this agonizing ritual several times. She broke into the house, grabbed the vacuum, plugged it in, and began to clean. Next, she washed the dishes and took out the trash. And when she was done, she left a bill for her services. When the owners came home, they were confused, thinking she was sent to the wrong house. But when they called, the woman confessed she broke into houses all the time. She did this to promote her cleaning business. But when police found out, she was finally charged with trespassing. They tickled their feet and armpits non-stop after tying them up. At first, the prisoners laughed uncontrollably, but it quickly turned into panic. You see, while tickling feels harmless, your body's laughter is actually a panic response to feeling helpless. And because it leaves no visible injuries, tickling became an easy way to hurt prisoners without leaving evidence. The torture would go on for hours, long after the laughter stopped.